What is up, guys? This is Alex from First Figures. I'm now giving you guys a look at the changes that we've done with guts. Now there are lots of them and we need to go through each one, so this is probably going to be quite a long video, so we're going to go through all that good stuff now. Let's start with the head. Right, the first one, this head itself, right, ignore the fact this angle is the wrong angle for this one, right? I want to just take this head off here, okay? And I'm going to take off this one over here. This is the revised one. Alright, let's have a look at the changes here. The first one is this. We'll go from the top down. This part is all the same, however, this one now is much better. In the middle, there is gaps in between each of the hair grooves right there, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is, we have made some changes to the actual teeth. Before, the teeth were completely flat here and very flat here, whereas here you can see he has canines over there. The canines are a little bit more pointy and there's a little bit more shape to the bottom one as well. The next really obvious thing is the size of the mouth opening. If you look at the original one, right, it's a little bit boxy and rectangular. Okay, it's a little bit boxy and rectangular, so we have changed that to be a lot more sort of white, a little bit of a V shape there. It's a trapezoid. It's been a while since I've done some trigonometry or any of that good stuff. So those are the changes that we've done for the face, and I think it looks a lot better, hopefully. I mean, they're subtle changes, but I think it makes a huge difference. The other one is, if we look at the side, before, the way that there was this neck stretch here, it was missing this line tendon going in that kind of V shape that happens when you strain your neck to turn, and in this case he's turning towards the left. This one now has it and this one didn't have it. That's the one before. Alright, so let's put it back on so we can now go through the other changes, because there are, again, a lot of changes that we've done. But before we go on to the actual structural changes, whilst we've just done the head changes, the head comments, let's really look at the two exclusive heads that come there. The first one, again, it's the same thing, boom, boom, same problems there. The second one is rework the teeth. This one is a bloody variant, but also the tendon over there. That's been changed as well. So that is pretty straightforward. And the other one is more serious face. Again, the old one here is completely filled in, and this one is separated. And what we got over here, again, it will be the neck thing. Okay, so we've completely redone all of that. Now let's actually pull back and actually have a look at the actual pieces themselves, and let's focus on some of the changes here. The first one is, let's talk about the coloring. The color of the bandages is now a much sort of lighter gray compared to what it used to be here. So you can see that. 1, 2. There's quite a big difference. If you pull it back between the two, there's quite a difference between the two colors. And this is something that we checked with the club, and we went with this one. The second thing is, let's talk about the actual sword itself. Before, we had this grip, which is on this side and on that side, which is incorrect. As you can see, we've removed it and only have it on the Haimei-Zhuang. So we haven't put it on there yet. It's missing it. It's gonna go in there. So it will be on one side. That's the first thing. Second thing is, just ignore this gap here. That's gonna be sorted out as well. The other thing is the pommel. Look at the size of that beast. And then here it is much smaller. If I pull it back, you can see there is a difference in the size of that. People requested that we make it a little bit smaller, so that's what we did. All right, we aim to please. Now, an engineering aspect is, I can't tell you how many times we had samples where this thing broke and separating it out wasn't so easily kept in there. Now, the engineering on this bad boy has got a really nice, good magnet that can, just sort of go in and stay put. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. The other thing is, if we're still keeping it on the sword, we've improved the blood effect. Right now, it's maybe you can't see, there's a lot more with the blood on the bloody version, just to be clear. The blood has a little bit more gloss to some of the areas, and we made it a little bit, some areas have gloss, some areas don't have gloss, just to give it a bit of variation. if you compare it to this one over here, this is all quite matte in effect. And a little bit, how do I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, a little bit too much like that. So this one has more it still has the sort of lines, but it has some that are darker than the others, and therefore a bit more variation between them. Okay. The next thing is, we made a sort of mistake here. If you look at the way that this is here, this didn't make any sense. This part here and this part here. We knew that there was a reason for there to be a screw here and a screw here in order for that to then go and connect in between there. So we completely reworked it, and boom, I'm going to bring it over here. There you go. We extended that, made sure it connected to that point there, and the same thing for that over here as well, in order for it to have that feeling to look a little bit more realistic. So if you look from the side, it's the kind of attention to detail that we feel was very important to bring it back. No one really sort of, I think, spotted that initially, but we saw it, we thought we're going to change that. Alright, so that is that. Now I just want to quickly say, this effect of the dots look awful, so I'm asking them to stop doing that. It's got to be done by a different technique, certainly not using a paintbrush for the blood. We're going to rework that, and you can see in other examples here, it looks really terrible, one dot, 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 dot. So I'm making sure that's not going to happen, so don't worry about that. Again, this is the exclusive eye. He's looking down at you know what. We'll come back to the base a little bit later on. The other thing is, this over here is the chain, which obviously holds his sword. Now, currently the angle is a little bit weird. It's kind of going and flowing in towards the cape, which is a bit wrong. We're going to have it from this angle. It's going to be a little bit more going backwards. Right now, you can see it's kind of curving off to the right, which is weird. But it's nice to have that piece in motion, and you can't really even see it, but we're going to know it's there. Before, what happened before was it was just hanging down completely, and it was looked a bit lame. This was the previous cloak cape, and it was so easy to break. We've changed to the way that we've had the assembly method, so that's much easier to swap on and swap off. That's an engineering thing that you can't really see from the outset, but you will appreciate it when it comes down to the actual time for assembly. This bad boy needs some help for doing that. The other thing is that we've gone ahead and done is these were just Break City, as you can see here, and we've now upgraded those to actual metal, so you will not easily break those. So that's all nicely done in metal. That's gonna hopefully avoid people accidentally snapping them off just when they take it out of the box. Boom, the first thing you can imagine, broken. That would be a lot of boo-hooing if that was the case. So we've upgraded that. What else is there? Now that I'm looking at it, this handle here, we're going to need to tweak that to the same color as this one over here. I can see some of that sort of issues. But yeah, I believe that's pretty much the changes. Now, they are really small and subtle changes, but overall, it really, how do I say, it really is worth it and useful and helpful to just make it a little bit more accurate. Just wanted to have that. Over here, this is of course the bloody version, and also just a bit more in the bloody version. We've got just added some more gloss going in between this. And again, this is totally not what it's going to look like. These sort of big pieces of blood. We've got a bit of gloss going in between those grooves over here. Now over here we have the non-bloody variant. And all those changes that we talked about are sort of there as well. Again, this is the face, which you can expect. The colors being changed, and this is the non-bloody variant, of course, with that base as well. Right, hard to pick it up. There you go. And then no blood on the top. You can see this is how they all will be. They'll be flushed like that afterwards. I think we made some changes as well. I think we added some dots over here. I think maybe you can't. Again, there was a huge list that I had to go through quite meticulously to make sure that that was, how it was going to look. But yeah, it looks like we are at the finishing line. So you can, just in terms of the pre-production, I mean, we're in production now, I should say, but I'm just saying, just so you can see the changes. This is all pretty much the same. We have the lights off. We have the animated mode. Hold on. That's the all on. 这个不是有活动了吗? Oh yeah, sorry, it's starting now. Yeah, there you go. So there you can see that one is the animated mode. 我们能把灯关一下吧? Not much. Well, hold on. A bit more. Turn off the lights behind there as well. That is the animated mode, so they're all sort of moving in between. You can sort of see that coming out like that. I love how this base caused a lot of, interesting comments. And that is it all on. Looking great. Alright guys, I hope you like those changes. Let me know if you are a dunner. Let me know if you have it on waitlist. Let me know if you want to have, if you've got the standard, the exclusive, the non-vari, the non-bloody or the bloody. I'd love to hear all of that good stuff. Hope you like those changes. FRF is love and FRF is life, and I will see you on the next one.